I was saving every penny for an emergency surgery that could change my life, until my sister stole it all to fund her dream wedding. So I did what any betrayed sibling might do. I took her entire wedding fund while she slept. Stick with me while I share my story, and if it touches you, don't forget to support our channel by hitting that subscribe button, dropping a like, and sharing it with the people you care about. My name is Laura Jensen. I'm 28 years old, and I work as a nurse. I've spent the last few years living in constant pain from a rare spinal condition that makes even simple tasks feel like climbing a mountain. Doctors said there was a surgery that could help, but it was expensive. $34,000 expensive. So I started saving every extra dollar. I skipped vacations, dinners out, even new clothes. I put my health before everything. My sister Amanda is the opposite of me in every way. She's 26, pretty, charming, and spoiled beyond reason. Our parents always treated her like a princess, while I was expected to be the strong one. Amanda never worked a full-time job, but she always had the newest phone, the trendiest clothes, and somehow money for everything. When she got engaged to Brandon, a guy I never really liked, she started planning the perfect wedding. Expensive dress, huge venue, designer decorations. Everything had to be over the top. At first, she acted like she was happy for me when I told her I was finally close to my surgery goal. She smiled and nodded, but there was something in her eyes, something jealous. She didn't like that I was finally doing something for myself, that I had something big and important planned that wasn't about her. Then one morning, everything fell apart. I woke up, logged into my bank account like I always did, and froze. My heart sank. My savings account, the one I had protected for years, was empty, gone, every last cent. At first I thought it was a mistake. Maybe the bank messed up. Maybe I hit the wrong button. But after checking everything again and again, I knew the truth. The only person who had access to my information was Amanda. I had helped her with some online stuff before, and stupidly left my login saved on her laptop. I confronted her that morning, but she looked me straight in the eye and said she had no idea what I was talking about. She even acted offended. "Why would I steal from you, Laura?" she said, putting her hand on her chest like she was hurt. I could feel the walls closing in. I cancelled my consultation that week. I sat on my bed crying while Amanda started ordering her wedding dress. And somehow, her budget matched exactly what I had lost. That was the moment something inside me broke. I asked Amanda again that night. I sat her down in the living room and begged her to tell me the truth. "Please, Amanda, I know you took it. You're the only one who had access. That money wasn't for something fun. It was for surgery, my surgery." She blinked, crossed her arms, and tilted her head like I was speaking another language. "Laura, I have no idea what you're talking about," she said. "Are you sure you didn't just make a mistake?" It felt like a punch to the chest. She was lying so easily, like it meant nothing to her. I went to our parents, hoping they'd help me talk sense into her, but they didn't. My mum just sighed and said, "It's a stressful time for Amanda. Maybe you're overreacting." Overreacting. I was missing $34,000, my entire future. Dad wasn't any better. He shrugged and mumbled, "Amanda's wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, Laura. Maybe give it some time." They didn't say she stole it, but the message was clear. Her big day mattered more than my health. Amanda walked around like she hadn't done a thing wrong. She smiled at me, wore flashy new clothes, and left bridal magazines all over the kitchen. I started seeing new packages show up at the house. Dresses, custom invitations, gold-trimmed decorations. Every time I saw one, it felt like a slap in the face. One day, I caught her laughing with a friend on the phone, talking about how worth it her new wedding planner was. That night, I sat in my room staring at my phone, trying to reschedule my surgery consultation. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I didn't have the money anymore. I cancelled it. And then I broke down. I cried for hours, for the pain I was still in, for the years I spent working extra shifts while Amanda partied, for the hope I'd finally had, and how easily it was stolen. Amanda was glowing with excitement. I was stuck in bed, hurting, humiliated, and helpless, and she didn't care. She didn't even try to hide that she was spending exactly what I had saved, like she was daring me to say something again. I couldn't sleep. Every night, I tossed and turned, thinking about the money, the surgery, and Amanda walking around like she did nothing wrong. My heart was broken, but my mind wouldn't stop spinning. I knew she stole it. I just needed proof, not for anyone else, for me. So, I started looking. Amanda wasn't careful. She never was. She used the same passwords for everything. And one afternoon, while she was out dress shopping, I borrowed her laptop. It was still logged into her email. I clicked through her inbox, my hands shaking. Most of it was harmless. Bridal newsletters, Pinterest links, appointment confirmations. But then I found it. A bank statement. She had transferred exactly $34,000 into her personal savings account just 2 days before my money disappeared. The number hit me like ice. 34,000. Not a cent more or less. I kept digging, screenshotted everything. And that's when I saw something else. Something she must have forgotten about. In the back of one of her notebooks, hidden between cake ideas and guest lists, was a folded sticky note. Her handwriting was messy, rushed. It read, "I'll pay Laura back after the wedding. She doesn't even use that money yet. Just for a while." My chest tightened. She admitted it. She knew. She just didn't care. I stared at that note for a long time. My hands were cold, but my blood felt like it was on fire. I wanted to scream. I wanted to confront her again and throw it in her face. But then something shifted in me. I stood up, slowly, closed the notebook, put everything back exactly where I found it. No more yelling, no more begging, no more crying in my room while Amanda planned centerpieces. If she could betray me this deeply, I thought, then I could stop being her doormat. I had always been the quiet one, the dependable one, the sister who kept the peace. But peace had brought me nothing but pain. I realized then that Amanda would never feel sorry. She'd never understand the damage she caused. But maybe, just maybe, I could make her feel it. So I started planning, not loudly, not angrily, just carefully. She had taken my future while I slept. Maybe it was time I returned the favor. A few weeks passed. I kept my head down, went to work, and smiled when I had to. Amanda thought I had moved on, but I hadn't. I was just waiting, watching. One afternoon, Amanda left her laptop open again on the kitchen table. She was out with Brandon, probably cake tasting or picking out flowers. I walked past the screen and something caught my eye. An email from a wedding planning app. I paused, then sat down. The app had a link to their wedding fund. I clicked it. No password, no security, just an open page showing the balance of their savings account. I stared at the number, $42,000. I blinked hard, thinking maybe I imagined it. But no, it was real. $42,000, saved under both Amanda and Brandon's names. It had taken them only a couple of months, and I knew where a big chunk of that money had come from. Mine. I scrolled down and saw the transaction history. Big transfers, steady deposits, everything laid out so easily, like they didn't expect anyone to ever look closely. I realized then how careless Amanda was, how arrogant. She'd taken what I saved with pain, hours, exhaustion, and used it like play money, for dresses and DJs and fairy lights. And now she had more. I sat there, staring at the screen, the cold air in the kitchen brushing against my arms. She took my body's future for a party, and I had done nothing. But what if I did something? She had stolen from me while I slept, trusting me not to notice, not to fight back. She believed I was too kind, too quiet, too weak to ever take action. But maybe that was her mistake. I closed the tab slowly. My hands didn't shake this time. I stood up and walked back to my room, a strange calm settling over me. What if I took something back? Not with anger, but with precision. After all, Amanda had shown me exactly how easy it was. I didn't rush. That was the key. Amanda never noticed careful things. She was the type to leave her keys in the fridge and blame someone else. So when I started transferring the money, little by little, every single night, I made sure it was quiet, clean, untraceable. Each evening after work, I'd sit in front of her laptop like I was checking Pinterest boards for her wedding. I had bookmarked a few to keep up appearances, but behind one folder on my own laptop, I had created a fake invoice system, completely made up names, event planning deposits, catering placeholders. Each transfer was small, never more than $900 a day, some as low as $150. But every cent went to a new savings account I had opened just 2 days after finding her note. An account with no connection to my main bank, no paper trail, just me, and the money she owed me. It took 3 weeks, 21 days of patience, pretending, smiling through clenched teeth as she paraded around the house with her veil, talking about floral arrangements. 21 days of listening to her laugh with friends about her wedding vision, while I remembered every moment she stepped on me over the years. The birthday she told everyone I was too dramatic because I cried after Mum forgot. The time I got the lead in the school play and she faked a fever to keep the attention on. When I got my first nursing job, she called it cute and asked if I was finally done being the responsible sister. All those years, I swallowed it. Thought maybe that's what sisters do. Maybe if I stayed calm, stayed good, she'd see me, but she never did. And now she had taken the only thing I'd worked so hard for, my health, my future, all gone in the blink of an eye, until I took it back. She didn't notice a thing, not during the fittings, not during the cake tasting, not even when I asked her how the wedding fund was doing, just to test her. She grinned and said, "Great, Brandon's parents are so generous." I smiled back. That's good. By the time she realized anything, it would be too late. I wasn't just stealing money, I was stealing her illusion of control, of innocence, of always winning. And I didn't feel guilty, not even a little. It all unraveled one quiet Saturday morning, exactly 1 month before Amanda's big day. I was in the kitchen making coffee when I heard her shriek from her room. Not a normal yell. This was sharp, panicked, loud enough to make me freeze with the mug halfway to my lips. Then came the stomping. Then the door slammed. Then the shouting. "Brandon! The account is empty! What did you do?" I sipped my coffee slowly, heart pounding in a strange, satisfied rhythm. Brandon's voice followed, confused and defensive. "What do you mean it's empty? I haven't touched anything. Did you move it?" Amanda was hysterical. "No, I didn't move anything. We had 42,000 in there yesterday." I stayed in the kitchen, silent, calm, listening. She stormed downstairs minutes later, her face pale and blotchy with rage. "Laura, did you see anything weird on my laptop lately?" I blinked. "Weird? No. Why?" "Our wedding fund's gone. All of it. Just vanished." Her voice cracked. My face twisted into concern. "Oh my God. Did you call the bank?" "I'm about to," she muttered, dialing as she paced. She spent an hour on the phone. I sat at the dining table, scrolling on my phone, nodding occasionally as she babbled in panic. I already knew what the bank would say. They couldn't trace it. The transfers were too small to flag. There were no alerts, no red flags. They asked if maybe she gave someone access by mistake. Amanda said no, of course not. Only she and Brandon had the login. Still, the money was gone. She hung up and stood there, stunned. I leaned forward. "You think someone hacked you?" She glared at Brandon. "Or maybe someone in this house did it." I frowned. "Amanda, that's a serious accusation." "I don't know what else to think," she shouted. I stood up and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Look, maybe you just forgot to set up some security features. Anyone could have gotten in. Try filing a fraud report. Maybe the bank can reverse it." Amanda reported it. They opened a case, but it led nowhere. No footage, no flagged transactions, nothing she could prove. And I kept my smile small and my eyes wide. I was just the supportive sister, the one she'd stolen from. Funny how quickly the roles reversed. I waited until the house was quiet. Amanda had gone out with Brandon to meet their wedding planner, trying to salvage what little of their day she could. I sat at my desk with a pen and paper, heart calm, hands steady. For the first time in months, maybe years, I felt peace. The letter wasn't long, just enough to tell the truth, just enough to make her look at herself in a mirror she couldn't shatter. "Amanda, I want you to know that I never wanted to do this. I was saving that money for a surgery that could help me walk without pain, help me live a normal life. You knew that. You heard the doctors. You saw the MRI scans. And still, you took it. You told yourself it was just for a while. I found the note, by the way. The one you left tucked in your desk drawer. You never even bothered hiding your crime properly. You thought I'd just sit there and cry. You thought I was too weak to fight back. But you were wrong. I watched you spend my future on centerpieces and monogram napkins. I listened to you laugh while I cancelled my surgery consultation. And I realized I had to stop being your doormat. So I took something back. Yes, I emptied your wedding fund. I didn't hack you. I didn't scam you. I used what I had. Access to your laptop and a quiet house. Every cent you took from me went back where it belonged. To me. You took my body's future for a party. I took your party for my future. Laura. P.S. Enclosed is your original note. Keep it close. You might need it someday. I folded the letter, placed it neatly in an envelope, and slid Amanda's handwritten confession in with it. Then I walked to her room, set the envelope on her perfectly made bed, and closed the door behind me. Later that evening, the screaming started. It wasn't panic like before. This was rage, explosive, gut-wrenching. She tore through her room like a storm, ripping her vanity drawers out, throwing pillows, kicking her closet door until the hinges groaned. I sat on the couch downstairs, not moving, just listening. She called for our parents. They didn't answer. She yelled my name. I stayed quiet. Amanda had always thought she could take, and no one would ever stand up to her. But this time, her victim didn't stay broken. This time, I stood taller than I ever had. Even if my back still ached, my spirit didn't, and she knew it. Amanda didn't waste time telling the family what I'd done. By morning, our parents were at my door, faces tight with anger and confusion. My mum crossed her arms. "How could you do this to your own sister, Laura? That was her wedding." I stayed calm. "She stole my surgery fund." Dad sighed like I was being dramatic. "Amanda told us she was going to pay you back. It was just temporary." "Temporary?" I snapped. "You think I could afford to temporarily lose $34,000? That money was for my spine, for my health, for my life." They kept defending her, like always. Amanda had always been the favorite, the one who could do no wrong. I'd been the responsible one, the quiet one, the one expected to just take it. And for years I did, but not anymore. I stood up. My voice didn't shake. "You want to talk about vindictive? Let's talk about every time Amanda took my things growing up and you laughed it off. Let's talk about how you praised her for getting engaged while I worked double shifts to save for surgery, or how you ignored me crying in my room when I had to cancel the consultation because she wiped my account clean." The room went silent. "You raised a thief," I said. "You just didn't expect her to steal from family." Later that day, Brandon showed up. His face was pale, eyes sunken. Amanda must have told him the truth, or maybe he found the letter too. "She took your surgery money?" he asked, voice low. I nodded. She did. He didn't say anything else, just turned and walked away. Amanda ran after him, crying, begging. He shook his head and said something I couldn't hear. Then he drove off. That night, Amanda didn't come downstairs, but I heard her sobbing through the walls, loud, broken sobs like a person unraveling. Her dream wedding was gone, her fiancé was gone, and for the first time, her perfect little world had cracked, and everyone could see inside. She tried to ruin my body to throw a party. I just gave her a taste of what it feels like to lose something that truly mattered. I finally did it. With the money I quietly took back, I scheduled my surgery. It felt surreal signing those papers, like I was still waiting for someone to come stop me, to tell me I didn't deserve it, or that I needed to wait just a little longer. But no one came. No Amanda. No guilt. Just me and a future I was finally claiming. The morning of the surgery, I sat on the hospital bed alone. I wasn't scared, only quiet. My body had suffered for years, pain that made it hard to sleep, to sit, to live. But what Amanda had done, that hurt differently. It wasn't just about the money. It was about trust, about being treated like I was invisible, even when I was the one holding everything together. The procedure took hours. I woke up groggy, sore, but with something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Real, solid hope. Recovery was hard, but each week I got a little stronger. I remember the first time I walked outside without pain shooting up my back. I stood still on the sidewalk, blinked at the sunlight and smiled like an idiot, because it was real. I wasn't hurting. I wasn't bending over just to catch my breath. I was standing tall, and I had done that. I had saved myself. I didn't reach out to Amanda. I didn't respond when my parents called, usually to scold or guilt me. I needed space. I needed air. So I moved. I packed what I needed and left town. Found a small apartment in a quiet city where nobody knew my name or my story. I transferred to a new hospital, one with kind co-workers and a view from the nurses' station that caught sunsets just right. And for the first time in my life, I put myself first. I learned to cook new meals. I bought flowers for my windowsill. I adopted a cat I named River, who naps on my chest like it's her full-time job. I laughed again, really laughed, watching bad movies with wine on a Friday night. Sometimes I think about Amanda, not with anger anymore, just distance, like a character from an old book I don't plan to read again. I hope she learns. I hope she grows, but I won't be there to witness it. This new life, it's mine. I earned it, and it started the moment I stopped letting people walk all over me and finally started walking for myself. A year passed like a quiet breath. I had settled into my new life, routine, peaceful, and mine. Every morning, I woke up without pain. I walked to work with a spring in my step. I smiled at strangers, enjoyed fresh coffee, and even picked up painting on weekends. I was healing, not just physically, but inside too. Then one day, a letter came. No return address, but I knew the handwriting immediately. Amanda. For a moment, I just stared at it, my hands still. Part of me was curious. wondering if maybe, just maybe, it held an apology, a small olive branch. But deep down, I already knew better. I opened it. The first line said everything. "You ruined my life." No hello, no how are you, just bitterness poured into ink. She blamed me for the wedding that never happened, for Brandon leaving, for our family being divided. She said I had always been jealous, always waiting to tear her down. There was no remorse, no recognition of what she had done to me, just rage and finger-pointing. I didn't finish reading it. I didn't need to. I folded it once and dropped it in the trash. No anger, no tears, just a quiet understanding that some people never change, and I didn't need them to. I stood by the window, letting the sunlight touch my face. The city buzzed softly below. My cat, River, jumped into my lap and purred like she knew I needed the comfort, and I smiled. Amanda could scream into the void all she wanted. She could blame me, hate me, twist the story in her head to make herself feel like the victim. That wasn't my burden anymore. She thought I was weak, but I was just quiet, and now I'm free. Do you think Laura did the right thing by taking back what was stolen and walking away from her toxic family? Or should she have forgiven Amanda and tried to mend things? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd really love to hear your side. And if you enjoy stories like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's coming next.